Alright, so how's it going everyone? I'm back making a video. It's been probably over a year since the last time I actually made a video. In fact, I think it has been well over a year now, and funnily enough, the last video I made was actually a Gears of War one. I think it was a tech test actually, funnily enough. Um, which I think was September. Was it September? I don't remember. It was definitely a year ago anyway. Gears has been out for a long time now, or Gears 5 has been out for a long time now. We're now in Operation 5, going into Operation 6 in the next couple of weeks, I would say. Probably next week or two, in fact. And I probably could have waited actually, because I'm assuming they'll probably bring out more maps. In Operation 6, they'll probably bring out like a couple more, 4 or 5 maybe. We'll see if we get that many. But I figured I've seen loads of these tier maker videos. They're probably they kind of did start to die out as a trend, and then people started doing them again. So I figured, you know what, let's try and do the Gears of War 5 maps, and rank them just based on my opinions. Obviously, it's going to be a very opinionated video. Some of these maps are going to be favourites of mine, and you might hate them. Also, it's also kind of dependent. I'm going to be ranking them based on the versus modes. So like Horde and all that aren't going to be like they're not going to be a factor in them because I don't really play Horde, and to be fair, a lot of the maps, I mean some of them I guess would be objectively better for Horde, but yeah, versus mainly Koth, based on how I play it, which is normally just me and one other friend. Most of the time, about 90% of the time that we play, it's just me and one other friend, so we don't stack or anything most of the time. Because you could basically make an argument for every single one of these maps that if you're playing up against a decent stack, every one of these maps could be shit and just not in your favour. So we'll try and do it based on just like a normal game of King of the Hill. We'll go with that and we'll just see. I'll try and justify my answers as well. But anyway, get the long ass intro out of the way. We'll just jump straight into the first one, which is Allfathers. We don't have subtitle things for all of the maps here. But I think I can tell which they are from the pictures. We should be all good here. So yeah, Allfathers. I think this was the last operation this one came out. It's probably the smallest map in the game at this point in time. I think it is. Straight away, Allfathers. I'm going to have to put... Because if it comes up in the vote, you're going to vote Allfathers most of the time. I think a lot of people would vote it. And personally, I would have to shove this straight up away in S. The thing is, with these maps, the Coalition, like the maps that they made at the beginning of the game, like 90% of them were just total, like, they were actually ass. But the maps that they've made throughout the operations, for the most part, I'd say have actually been pretty good. Also, I forgot to mention, obviously some of these maps have been, like Gridlock and stuff like that, have been released in Gears 1. And have just made their way up through every single game at this point. But obviously they're in Gears 5, hence why I'm kind of calling them Gears 5 maps. But anyway, yeah, Allfathers, smallest map, there's plenty of action. The fact that the map changes, although it's very slight, and a lot of the time you feel like you're playing the same sort of layout every time. That's kind of what it feels like to me anyway. But yeah, the fast pacedness of this and just the amount of kills and stuff you can get on Allfathers, definitely I would say puts it on A. Asylum, which is a Gears 5 only map, I think. This is a cool one. Also, I want to mention one factor that I will be taking into things is the way the map actually looks. Because for me personally, I think the way a map looks is like a big factor in how much enjoyment you get out of it, which is kind of weird because some maps could look ugly and play really well, but for me it's a big deal. Anyway, Asylum. I do like Asylum, and I've played it quite a lot. I don't know. I would probably put Asylum up into A. It's not an S because like if it comes up, I'm like, okay, cool, Asylum's there, but I'm not going to be like spam voting it. It's also a nighttime map, which is pretty cool, I guess. There's not too much to say about Asylum. The trains are cool. Even though sometimes you're trying to like get into the hill, there's a few seconds left, and then boom, the train wants to spawn and blocks you, and you can't do anything. But that's just the way it goes. But for the most part, I would say it's probably an 8. It's decent enough, I would say. Pretty good. Now we have everyone's favourite map. Totally not lying about that. Blood Drive. This is one of these maps that if you get put into a game with a stacked team that know what they're doing, you may as well just stop playing at this point. The amount of camping that you can do and the amount of setup you can do in this map is ridiculous. You know, Blood Drive used to be one of my most hated maps. Over time, if you're not playing against a stupid stack, it can be okay. Yeah, I would feel bad putting it in F because I've had a lot of hate for this map, genuinely. But judging it based on the last couple of months when I've been playing and getting Blood Drive, it's not been nearly as bad as it used to be. So for that, I'll put it in D. It's not my, in fact, I will say it's not my least favourite map in the game. So we can judge it based on that. The way it looks, I mean, it's fine. It's a Gears 2 map, I think. And yeah, basically, also the reason I'm doing Gears 5, I know I keep cutting into myself and like talking over myself almost, is because I didn't ever play Gears 1 through 3 and Judgment's multiplayer. At that point, I was like a big Gears fan, but only for the story. I never really had the balls to try out multiplayer, and I kind of started in Gears 4. So if I had played all the games, I might have done like a full games maps tier list, but for the time being, Gears 5 is probably what I've put the most amount of time into, so Blood Drive, yeah, D, that's fine. And now we have Bunker. This might be debatably one of the single worst map in the game. I think I used to play it when the game first came out, when there was not very many maps available. Genuinely, when I say it, I don't think I've played this map, in fact, for the entire Operation 5, and probably most of Operation 4, I would say I haven't even like glimpsed at the map. The map's not even came up in the votes most of the time. It's a straight F. The map's horrible. It's too big. It's kind of it's the same sort of theme with these Gears 5 maps, is that they're too Lancer heavy. They've kind of based these maps on like a lot of Lancer covering fire, which, you know, it's not the most fun to play against, to be fair. So yeah, I mean, Bunker, there's really not much to say about it. It's just a very boring, large, slow-paced map. Definitely F, I would say. Canals now, this is a favourite of mine. I don't know how many people actually like Canals. I think some people really hate it, in fact. But Canals was a Gears 1 map, I believe, as well. I don't know what it is about it. I like that there's 2 sniper spawns at either side. I think maps that are like that are they can be good, but then if you get teams that know what they're doing, like I said earlier, they end up getting people that rotate round and stealing the sniper spawn from your side, and then they end up with 2 snipers and they're just popping domes left and right. But yeah, Canals is another nighttime map. The nighttime maps are pretty cool most of the time. I just like the way this one plays, and the theme of it is just really, really nice. For me, Canals is way up there. And next we have Checkout, which is a really cool looking map. You know, it's based on, I think, Gears 3. I'm pretty sure it was a Gears 3 map anyway. Like I said, I don't really know all of these at the back of my head, but Checkout, it's hard to say because Checkout is one that if it comes up, I'll probably actually vote it over most maps. But again, this one, if you've got a stacked team, is one of the most frustrating things to play against, because that little central platform where the Ensign spawn or the Shock can spawn is literally, it's like the bane of my existence with people sitting up there lancering 24/7. I mean, I've been guilty of doing it before because in a way that's how you need to win Checkout. And they actually, I don't know, I can't remember how recent it was now, but they changed the King of the Hill spawns, or the hill spawns, so that there's now a hill inside where the Retro Lancers / Boltox spawn, and those are some of the most annoying hills to recapture because they're literally in a corner, and people just Lancer, because like that's all you need to do. There's nothing else you really need to do. I think Checkout is also my mate's favourite map, or it might not be anymore, but I can't say it's a crap map. I can't say it's my favourite map. I would probably put Checkout. I'm going to shove it into A, and actually see Asylum, I'm going to move to... You know, I'll leave it in A for now. But we might have to shuffle some things. Put them in order, I would say. I like Canals. Oh, this is tough. I'll put Canals ahead of Allfathers for now. But they are quite even. They're different. They play very differently. But they're both really fun for me. Okay, now we have Clock Tower. Which, every single time it gets voted, it's like, I hate my life, basically. This is one of the worst maps in the game for me. Like, 100%. There's just something about it that I just cannot stand. I genuinely just hate everything about it. I don't know if it's got something to do with the fact that every time I seem to play the map, I do terribly on it. That's probably a big factor. But I cannot, like, there's nothing about it that I enjoy. That being said, I don't hate it as much as Bunker. But this is going to probably cause a lot of controversy, because I know a lot of people like Clock Tower, like a lot of people do like it. I want to shove it here. I hate Clock Tower, I just can't stand it. But it's not as bad as Bunker, so we can live with that. So next up is Dam. Dam is a weird one because you don't seem to get it voted very much. I'm pretty sure it's a Gears 4 map. It doesn't come up very much. You play it a couple of times maybe, but not too much. I would have to put... I mean, the theme of it as well, the Dam theme isn't too, like... It's like, it's fine. It's not, like, incredibly stand out or anything. I think for this one, it's sort of the same as Bunker. Not as bad as Bunker, because it actually plays decently. But in the sense of theme, it's kind of like meh. I'm going to just shove it in the middle of the road. I think C is probably where I'd put it. I wouldn't vote it over most maps, I would say. But everything underneath it, definitely voting that above Blood Drive, etc. So... put it as a C, seems fair enough. So District again is a Gears 5 only map. The next two actually coming up are District. You know, this is one of the few... In fact, there's actually a couple of maps that were originally released for Gears 5 at the beginning of the cycle that were okay. This was one of them. I think District and Asylum are probably just about even. For enjoyment from me. I like the theme of District. It's a pretty cool theme for this one. Again, there's not much to say about each map, like how they play, because I don't usually like to think about how each map plays from like a professional standpoint. It's just kind of, I just play the map and stuff like that. There's differences between like this and Bunker, because Bunker's just slow, and anybody can tell that Bunker's slow. But I'm not talking about like flank opportunities and stuff like that, because I don't really care too much, to be honest. This, I want to put it in B just so that there's something in B, because I don't know what else might go into B. But for the time being, I think it's an A. District's a good map. Would I like it over Asylum? I'm not sure. These two are kind of interchangeable, so I'll just leave them where they are for now. And move on to Exhibit. This one's a really cool theme. It's like the inside of a museum. There's a couple of cool like Easter eggs as well, in this map as well. In fact, saying that, Bunker's got a decently cool Easter egg as well, but it's not going to redeem it. 100%. So anyway, yeah, Exhibit. Again, it's a bit of it feels like a smaller map. Usually if you get a decent game with an evenly matched team, you can get quite a lot of kills, probably 70 LMs, potentially more than that even. Like I said, theme's cool. There's 2 sniper spawns, obviously, at the at each spawn. Again, as a favourite thing for me. The only thing I hate about this map is it's the damn lasers up at the grenade spawn. For me, it's like they don't really add anything other than just getting in your way. Like, you can have a fight going on with multiple people, and you're trying to like bounce to dodge shots and blah blah blah, and then the lasers spawn, and you're trying to dodge the lasers and the shots. I guess some people might find that like quite cool, because you need to think about multiple things at once. But for me, they're kind of just annoying, so I'm probably going to shove this one. It's still a really good map though. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty much the only thing I don't really like about it. You know, I'm actually going to shove that in A as well. It's definitely not S for me. B. I'm actually going to move... No, I'm not going to just move things into B just for the sake of it being empty. I think these four are probably A tiers, I would say. Okay, so moving on, we've got Forge, another Gears 4 map. This one again, it hasn't got a really interesting design to it. I don't really care honestly about it. I mean, it's got the cool little like fire pit in the middle that you can burn people if you press the switch. That's a pretty cool design. Whenever it works, obviously it doesn't work all the time, especially if you've got players that know what they're actually doing. Not really too much to say. This is another one kind of like Damn, where you don't really get it too often. You're not really that angry if you get it. It's just it's kind of like just middle of the road sort of thing. So I'm gonna put this in Damn. Damn and Forge are sort of interchangeable again for me. In fact, I'd probably rather play Forge than Damn. Yeah, that's probably fine. In fact, Foundation now. So this might be where our first B tier comes in. Foundation on Gears 4 was probably one of my favourite maps. We used to pretty much get it all the time. Like, Foundation was voted every single day, like, no matter what. In Gears 5, it's more or less the same thing, unless maps like Allfathers come up, or maybe some of the ones that haven't been mentioned yet. But yeah, Foundation, again, is one of those stacked, or one of those maps which, if you've got a stacked team against you, especially with the hills that are next to the shocks, see when they're in each of those corners, it's so hard to retake against a decent team, which can make it really frustrating, like Blood Drive and like Checkout, especially the kind of the Retro Lancer spawns. Recently, however, I've been finding myself not to enjoy Foundation as much. I don't know what it is, but maybe it's just because I'm burned out and I play it far too much. Or at least used to play it far too much. I'm not sure, but I think B is probably fair. I wouldn't say it's... I would rather play... Basically, what I'm saying is I'd rather play Checkout or Asylum, probably, at this point, over Foundation. Just because, I don't know, I think I'm burned out on Foundation. It is a good map though, obviously, otherwise it wouldn't be even in B tier. Okay, so we've got Gridlock next, which is one of the OGs. If you think Gears of War, personally, I usually think of Gridlock. However, the map is kind of not that good. For Gears 5 especially, it plays very slowly. At least it can play very slowly. You don't usually get that many kills on Gridlock. I don't know what it is about it. I do, however, like the sniper spawn, unless it's obviously being used against you. That's one of the most annoying things, when somebody hogs a sniper in the enemy team and just starts taking all your heads off. Gridlock, you know, Gridlock might be a B as well. In the past, I would say Gridlock's, wow, all the way up there in an S tier. But since it's been released for the Operation 5, it's kind of dwindled down a bit. And I think it's probably sitting next to Foundation. Like, I would be happy playing these two, but if there was other maps like these in the rotation, I would probably prefer to play them instead. Alright, so moving on to Harbour. This one's sort of on the same road as Forge and Dam. You don't really get it too often. I'm not that mad to play it, but it's definitely not my favourite. It's probably even a little bit worse than Forge and Dam. Bearing in mind, I've not really thought all of these through, so this list could technically change if I had a bit more thought to them, but these are kind of my initial reactions to each map. Harbour, it's got a decent theme. I don't know if it's in Gears 5, but it used to have a really cool Easter egg with the Leviathan. Which again isn't going to contribute to actually where the map's placed. But yeah, Forge, I don't know, or not Forge, Harbour, I don't like it that much. I don't hate it. I would probably rather play Forge or Dam, and for that reason I'd shove it there. Would I rather play Blood Drive than Harbour? Oh Jesus, I don't know. They're kind of both Shengus, to be honest. I'm not a fan of either. I would actually probably rather play Blood Drive, so yeah, don't shout at me for that one. However, moving next, we have Icebound. Now, I said Bunker might be the worst map in the game. I think Icebound might actually be worse, because at least with Bunker, you never see it. You never ever see it. Icebound, again, you never really see it, but there's that one game, once every couple of weeks, maybe even a little less than that, somebody will vote Icebound, and it'll be the map that you play and you just hate life. At least nobody in their right mind votes Bunker. Like, genuinely in the past months, I've never even touched Bunker. This map's different. This is straight awful. You've got the two kind of raised areas either side of the drop shot, Lancer Central. In fact, this entire map is just Lancer Central. It's bloody terrible. I understand that Lancering's part of the game, and I'm not like mad at people Lancer. However, this map is it's fully based around using a Lancer, and I just can't go that. It's worst map in the game. 100% worst map in the game. I'll move Clock Tower up though, because it's way better than Bunker, way better than Icebound, so I can't hate on Clock Tower to that extent, although it is fucking dog shit. So, Lift, again, another Gears 4 map. I don't know if I prefer this Lift or like the old Lift that was in Gears 4 that was like underground. There were two different versions, there's only one in Gears 5 I think. Lift is alright. Lift is decent. It can be quite a lot of fun if you get a fair matchup. I had a matchup probably a few months ago now. It was very evenly matched. The game lasted quite a long time, and it was enjoyable. I would say Lift is fine. Yeah, sorry, as I was saying, Lift is fine. It's probably again on the same sort of road as Forge and Dam. I wouldn't mind playing it, but there is better options. Although, you know what, I would actually shove Lift at the top of C tier. I think I would rather play that over those two. Gridlock, I don't know if I'm happy with where Gridlock is placed. You know, I'm actually going to move Lift up a little bit and probably put it in there. I actually do quite like Lift. The more I think about it, Lift is quite fun. I'd play it over Gridlock just for the pacing of Lift. Lift's a lot better pacing than Gridlock. You seem to get more kills and more action on this map. So I think that's probably decent where it's sat right now. Next up we've got Nexus, which is brand new for Operation 5. And I must say, it's probably the best theming out of any map in the game, I would say. It's genuinely... In fact, I think I'm missing a map actually. Oh yeah, we'll get to that. Nexus, yeah, Operation 5, best theming. Gears 2 is probably my favourite Gears game out of every single one. So the fact that they've made a Nexus one is, well, it's pretty damn hype, to be honest. You've got the cool corpses as well. That's one of the really cool things about this map with the theming. You've got the kind of dead corpser. I'm missing another map as well. I'll have to sort that out. I'll get to this. I'll add them in. So yeah, Nexus I would put straight up here, basically. It plays really well, the theme's awesome, fast paced, there's nothing more I can say, it's just a really, really good map. I would even put it, at the minute, I would actually put it at the very top, over Canals, which is like my old-timey favourite. Yeah, I would put that there, that's probably fine. Okay, so next we have got Pahanu. I almost forgot the name of it because it's actually one of the most dead maps in the game. It's not the worst map in the game, but I genuinely think I've played it maybe 3 times since it's came out. Really cool, unique design. Even the layout of the map's like way different to normal Gears of War maps. It's like really open and kind of flat. It's really weird. But it's still an F. It's not worse than Icebound. Or even Bunker, I would say. I would probably still rather play Pahanu with the 3 times that I've played it over Bunker or Icebound. No joke. So I can't really say much about it because honestly I've not played it enough because it doesn't get voted in King of the Hill at all. So moving on to these last two, I'm going to probably add two. I think I'm missing Regency and I'm missing River. I don't know where those two have went, but I'll add them at the end. I'll just like insert a picture in where I would put them pretty much. So anyway, we'll start with Training Grounds here. Again, this is one of the original Gears 5 maps, and one of my least favourite. Again, the way they've designed this map is Lancers. Lancer, 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 Lancer. That's all it is in this map. There's too much height in it that you can kind of Lancer down on people, and there's too much open space where there's not enough cover. It's kind of insane how much this map's just really, really, really bad. I would rather play this though over... I would put it in D. I would rather play Blood Drive and Harbour over this though. I think that's probably fair. I feel like I'm being a bit harsh on Clock Tower. I feel like I should move Clock Tower up. No, I'm sticking to the guns. I'm sticking to the guns. I hate Clock Tower. But yeah, Training Grounds, it's a decently cool looking map. It's like obviously where you start in the boot camp training sort of thing. But it's just, yeah, it's not very fun. So last we've got here, the last picture anyway, that I've somehow forgot to add the other ones. Vazgar, again, it's a really unique looking map. It's based on the campaign level, obviously, with like the cool black crystals. I can't remember what they're actually called. It's like glass, it's like black glass basically. However, I don't like it that much. I don't hate it, but when it gets voted, I'm kind of just like, I'm not really a big fan. It can be quite fun, but I would say the majority of the time, I just do not enjoy Vazgar. Like I said, the theme's cool and all that, but it's probably a D for me. These two are sort of the same sort of road for me, same sort of boat. I'm just not a huge fan. Training Grounds over Vazgar, I'd maybe swap these two, but it's not by much. These are pretty even. And moving on to, we'll use the last two that are River and Regency. For some reason I haven't actually added them in. I don't think there's an easy way to do so either. In fact, give me 1 second and I will add them in. Alrighty, so somehow I actually managed to miss 3 maps, or I missed Reclaimed as well. These have actually all been moved out. I had to quickly edit the list. I made the list myself. There wasn't a Gears 5 maps on Tier Maker. There was only like a full Gears of War like through the entire series. I think it was Clock Tower, Pahanu, Bunker, and then Icebound, I think. So we've got Reclaimed, Regency, and River left. And I've checked, these are the last 3. Reclaimed, another map that I think people quite enjoy, however I just despise it. It's sort of the same downfalls as like Training Grounds and stuff like that. There's far too many like Lancer angles. Maybe it's just me that thinks that, but there's something about this. I don't really enjoy the theming of it either. And I think it's like I think it's based on like a mission in Gears 4 if I'm not like mistaken. Oh, and don't even get me started on Reclaimed Windflare. That map in Gears 4 was total dog. It was terrible. Anyway, yeah, Reclaimed, it's not one of my favourites. I would honestly shove this down at the very bottom in F as well. But I don't know if I could. It's sort of along the same lines as Blood Drive. Like, I kind of hate them equally. Would I rather play Reclaimed over Training Grounds or Vazgar? I would rather play Harbour for sure. And I would probably rather play Reclaimed and then Vazgar and then Training Grounds. That's probably where I would put them, if I'm being totally honest. So moving on to Regency, which is another map added in Operation 5 like Nexus was. And I have to say, it's one of the best looking maps in the entire game. And I was kind of mixed opinions at first. Like, I liked how it looked, but I didn't exactly enjoy the map itself, how it was played. But the more and more I've played it throughout the entire operation, which has been a couple of months now, the more I've really, really loved it. I would honestly have to put Regency up here, definitely. Maybe even ahead of Canals. Just because of these two are like really, really new and fresh, I would have to put them above Canals, although it's my old-time love. These two, just for being new, I would have to put above Canals at this point. But yeah, Regency, one of the best looking maps, really, really bright and vibrant. which is a lot different from a lot of these maps, which are, you know, a lot of these are dead like grungy and dark. So definitely a big fan of Regency. And last but not least, River. When I first played River in Gears 5, I hated it. I genuinely hated it. Even still, the spawns on this map, they're utter dog shit. You can spawn behind enemies, like 2 foot behind them, or you spawn with enemies looking at you. And then don't get me started on, see if you've got a decent team that you're playing against. They can run riot with those 2 torque bow spawns and 2 sniper spawns because the map is so small, and those torque bows spawn in so often. It feels like every 2 seconds you're just getting tagged in the arse with a bolt. Like, depending on what team you're against, this map can be okay. At the very start of of the map's release, I really didn't like it. However, now it's like, you know what, I wouldn't mind playing River. It's fast paced at least, and you can get an enjoyable game out of it from time to time. I would probably put it up here. I would probably rather play River over Dam and Forge. It might even be on a different day. It might even be on B tier. But for the time being, I think that should be all of them. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, like I said, on a different day, maybe more thought, I would maybe change some of these around. But initial sort of first time thoughts, these are my 4, or these are the list, my 4 S tiers especially here. I mean, S tiers I probably wouldn't change. F tiers again I wouldn't change. Maybe some of these would get mixed around, but for the time being, that's the list. You'll be able to find it if you want to do this for yourself on Tier Maker. I think it's just called, I guess it's called Gears 5 map tier list. If you fancy doing the Gears 5 maps, that is. And I think that'll end it here. I might maybe in the future do like a skins video, like cog skins, locust skins, weapon skins maybe even. We'll see how it goes, because, you know, don't want to overdo it. But first video in quite a while, thought I would do a bit of a tier list thingy. And yeah, it was quite enjoyable, so hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll see you next time.